So let's continue on with a few more things that you should and shouldn't do so that you have great success with your Wi-Fi communications between your devices and the XR. One thing that's been mentioned and theorized quite a bit on the Facebook user group is that Apple probably has a little more issues with its Wi-Fi connection to the XR than an Android device. And at this point, I'm probably going to agree with that. So hopefully Behringer finds something in their application that's going to make that connection a little better. It really does seem like the iPad has some issues, and I'm not so sure that, again, it's not the operating system on the iOS potentially, dropping a connection and then looking for something else and then ignoring the XR18. That's been theorized as well. So all you have to do is think like the device. Think like an iPad or a Mac laptop. If it's been told that if it drops the current Wi-Fi, which would be your XR18, and for any other reason it finds something else that it wants to attach to, it's now actively ignoring your XR18. And if you don't understand that, you're going to sit there again in panic mode, wondering why it's not connecting and why you keep going to your application and hitting apply or clicking on connect over and over, and it won't connect. I have seen it several times when somebody's trying to connect, it won't see this down here at all because you're actually not even on the Wi-Fi network any longer. You have no Wi-Fi connection and you're connected back to another Wi-Fi device. And that's something that the iDevice or the Mac device did on its own. It lost your connection momentarily, and now it's off onto something else, and it's actively ignoring the other Wi-Fi. So as a troubleshooting technique, you must make sure that you are connected to your XR18 and not something else that's slowing down your reconnect. So keep that in mind as well. So again, for us, 99% of the time, the built-in Wi-Fi with the web password is working perfectly. And of course, we are scanning for the best channel to use in our gig situation. However, we must all understand that just like the telephones, it's not going to work in every situation. And it's absolutely imperative that you, as the sound guy or the band member that's in charge of the XR18, you've got to have a plan as a backup option. I would say if you're in Nashville or New York or New Orleans or some hugely densely populated area with Wi-Fi and cell phone towers and thousands of people in the area, downtown area, it's certainly possible that you're going to have basic Wi-Fi connection problems. So I would say don't even try it. It's not really made for that. And a lot of people are kind of surprised that a $299 digital mixing system like the XR12 doesn't have a $200 Wi-Fi router inside of it. And if you think about it, it literally is impossible. There's no way a $299 device like the XR12 is going to have 80% of its cost tied up into the Wi-Fi circuitry. So a better way to look at the built-in Wi-Fi is basic built-in Wi-Fi connectivity. So if you're using this in a pro application, a paid gig or something like that, you got to do your job and make sure that you've got a backup plan and another option. And obviously the easiest option is to simply hook up an external router. Many of us have done that. I've used $50 routers, and I also pulled one from my X32 system, which is like a $200 4 antenna, device. It's supposed to be really good signal, strong signal. And of course it's dual band. And that simply means that it's going to broadcast on the 2.4 gigahertz spectrum as well as the 5 gigahertz spectrum. Now, there's some trade-offs there. We all think that 5 gigahertz is better, but it's actually not. It's got its pros and cons. 5 gigahertz is a less congested area because all the phones and stuff are using 2.4, but the signal isn't as strong. It won't penetrate distance as far as a 2.4. So you can certainly have dual band, and you should test whether you like or get a better signal at 2.4 or 5. We do use 5. It works fine for us up to about 200 feet, and we have no problems with that. So what you're going to do is on the front of your XR device, you're simply going to take your new router that you purchase, plug it into the Ethernet socket. You will flip your switch from AP all the way to the left over to Ethernet, and now the XR18 will not generate its own network. It's going to just get its control signal from your Wi-Fi router. Now, when you first buy a router, of course, you've got to set up the network. And so it's going to come with its own application for, let's say, your laptop. Your laptop will tap into that router. You will create your new name of your network and, of course, your password. Now, on your other devices like your iPad, you'll simply go to your Wi-Fi settings, log on to a new network, type in the new name of the network and the password, and now you are logged in to your XR18 from a control standpoint. Now, the benefit of that, of course, is that you can have a hardwire backup connected to your router. So if your router has 4 ports on it, you can use one of those for a laptop to have a hardwire backup connection, and that device may also allow 10 or 12 devices to be hooked up to it. So the whole band could have access to it if they wanted to, but you get a lot more flexibility. And one other benefit is that you're going to have better password protection than a web password. A lot of people will say that the web password is really no good at all. I completely disagree. 99.99% chance that no one is hacking into your XR18 via its AP. So you are going to be able to have an external device, dual band, and hardwire. Keep in mind that you can't have your hardwire and AP at the same time without an external router. A lot of guys ask that question, can I hook a laptop up to the Ethernet, flip over to AP, have my wireless device, and have that as a backup? The answer is not at the same time. Now, if it's already wired that way and you have a problem with the built-in AP, you can flip right over and gain access via the hardwire, but you can't have dual control at the same time from a hardwire device and the AP